Welcome, my friends. This is Maniacal Incorporated, and today I think we're going to have a nice, quiet, relaxing episode. The last two episodes have been riven by war and strife as Grianghrafadóir sought to finish off his father's war for Leinster. And then when we finished that war, we didn't actually get Leinster. Grianghrafadóir turned his attention to carving out some territory here in Alba, which is collapsing, and he's seeking to stabilize the region by conquering it. And then he got around to finishing his father's goals and conquering Leinster. So we've had a lot of wars over the last few episodes, and Grianghrafadóir's vassals, some of them are up to minus 53 opinion of him, just for the amount of offensive wars that he's had. So we're gonna pull back. We're not going to have any offensive wars. This time round, it's going to be a nice, relaxing stream, like I said, or a nice, relaxing episode. And what Grianghrafadóir is going to look to do is he's going to look to go on a pilgrimage, hopefully to Rome, to visit the Holy Father, and to bestow upon him a book detailing the correct and vastly superior insular methods for the calculation of the date of Easter, and praying that His Holiness is going to be patched in as the head of insular Christianity at some point in time. So there's a bit of housekeeping to do. One of the first things is towards the end of the last episode, I looked through my list of knights and I saw that thankfully my son-in-law Carnock wasn't killed. Well, I was wrong. It was Carnock that was killed. So our poor son-in-law Carnock, a knight who I married my giant of a daughter to. He was killed down around this region in one of the final battles. I think it was one of the final battles to secure Leinster. He did have a son, however, a giant son. So we do have the beginnings of a military household. So I'm gonna look to marrying my daughter off to another knight. Instead of trying to form alliances, I'll marry her off to another knight and try and keep that giant trait in the family and develop some military holdings or military families. As you can see, I've also handed out ossuary. I've actually handed out ossuary to another one of my knights, Servertuk. So I'm holding on to Athlone and I'm holding on to Leinster, and we are attempting desperately to convert the faith and the culture, because I think we're down to minus 140 popular opinion. Due to the fact that they view us as evil. They're a foreign culture, and they're a foreign religion, and of course there we have the minus 53 for offensive wars. So we're gonna take a bit of a break. We're not going to have any wars, any conflicts this time round. And like I said, Grianghrafadóir, instead, he's going to go on a pilgrimage. He's going to go and visit the Holy Father, but to do that, we need money. So we're going to have a bit of a whip around. We're going to go to our vassals and we're going to see if they have any money, and I'm sure they'll contribute something to us. And then, what we're going to do is we're going to raise our army. And we're going to put them to raiders. Now we have our marshal as our leader, who hates us. When's the last time that I had a marshal that didn't hate me? And we're going to wait for a couple of seconds. We're going to let them build up to full capacity, and then we're going to ask Dublin and Alloch and Ulster for some money to help us go and meet the Holy Father. So we're going to get some pop-ups now about marriages and conversions and a variety of other things happening over the next couple of seconds. Or not. Here, just out of interest, is Rokan. I invited him to my court. He was in Scotland. This is our full brother. And so I think he had our Norse holdings before they were captured by the Swedish. I was planning on giving him some land, but it's a bit confusing because his son is actually in line for the throne of Alba at the moment. So if I was to give him Leinster, or if I was to give him land in Scotland, we could end up losing it if something happens to Grianghrafadóir. Hopefully it won't, so I'm going to hold off on actually giving Rokan any land at the moment. That's why I'm at 5 out of 4 instead of 4 out of 4. I just gave away ossuary, and I'll probably also give away this territory up here at some stage. and we'll try and keep the ones that are closer to us and making more money. So we have our army at full capacity. The other thing that I've done actually is Briog. I've put him on finding knights and on increasing knight effectiveness, basically on training knights instead of trying to return control, because it's going to be 8 years to return control in most of these counties, and instead I'm going to need to shift my lifestyle focuses to the observer tree and restore control that way. So our marshal has found a 16 prowess, 14 martial knight. He is 33. I like this guy. We're going to recruit him. We'll pause very quickly. We'll see about finding him a spouse. There's a medium chance of children with our daughter. He has no great traits that we actually want to maintain in the family. I could see us giving this man some land sometime. So we're gonna do that, and we should have actually seen if we could get him. We'll get you to convert yet. Don't you worry. We'll get you to convert. Donal, the little devil, is almost pushed out of our champions list because his prowess is so low. Donal, of course, is taking care of our son, Cuchurcha Moore, who has 11 prowess. So Cuchurcha would actually be one of our top knights. He's 7, and he's already a better knight than Donal. Donal, of course, is the son of Ser Vertuk, the king of Alba. We captured him and recruited him to our court. We have forced him to become a knight, and we have also forced him to raise our son. So he's the guardian of our son and heir, Cuchurcha, and I'm hoping that he picks up his brilliant strategist trait. And what was the other one that I wanted? Temperate. It would be great if he become temperate like him. And so we'll start by marching our raiders into Dublin to collect some money for the pilgrimage to Rome. Very important. And then we'll march them up here to Allach, and then we will bring them across into Ulster. Now the reason that we're doing all this is basically, as you can see, we're getting minus 0.1 piety per month. So basically, Grianghrafadóir wants that trait. He wants the pilgrim trait. And also, like I said, we're kind of burning down some time to get that minus 53 penalty, to get that away before we begin any more offensive wars. Now, I don't think any of the powers on the island of Ireland are in a position to stand against us. If we want their money, we are going to get it. So we've marched our army out of Dublin. It's returned some gold and some prestige to us. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to split the army in half. And here's the one that's being led by the king himself, by Grianghrafadóir, and we will march that into Downpatrick, where St. Patrick is buried. So we will raid down the two of these. And hopefully at that point in time, we'll have enough money for Grianghrafadóir to depart for Rome to meet the Holy Father. So there we're getting a pop-up that Coning, that's Rocon's son, is our new heir. I didn't actually even spot this, but Ulster has raised an army. That's a pity if we have to break off our other forces and bring them across. We would want to protect Grianghrafadóir. It doesn't look as though they're actually attacking us, though. I might be in the wrong here. The settlement of Downpatrick, an important stronghold in Greater Ulster, has fallen to my raiders. We have the run of vast tracts of land and many of the quivering subjects and shining treasures of Prince Selfie to choose from. The troops stand ready, awaiting my command to give them direction. We have 3 options. Capture skilled slaves for Athlone. Development goes up, which is absolutely meaningless. Bring me bounteous plunder. So we get money. It's not plunder, it's donations for our travel to Rome. And we've taken enough already. We're going to Rome to get piety. we'll get piety some other way. We'll take 30 gold and 75 prestige. So there was no real need to stand down those forces, or to move those forces out of Alloch. I'm not too sure where Ulster was going with its men, but it seems to have stood them down. Again, there is no power on the island of Ireland that can challenge the might of Grianghrafadóir. And we have finished our siege here as well. So we'll bring our army. We'll bring our army to Oriel. To Dundelgan. And from there, Grianghrafadóir with the voluntary contributions of his friends and family, and the voluntary contributions of the other foreign rulers in Ireland, he will make his trip to go and see the Holy Father. And so Grianghrafadóir prepares for a pilgrimage to Rome to give thanks to the Holy Father for the victories that God has seen fit to bestow upon the Irish in their pursuit of unifying the country, and to, to ask God for strength to continue the struggle, to bring Alba back into the fold, to hold back the Viking hordes that are raiding its churches. Totally different to what we've been doing. So we're going to go to the Vatican. The Abbey is in the Vatican. It's 175 to go to Jerusalem. We're almost there, actually, but in terms of money, but I wasn't planning on going there anyway. We want to go to Rome. As I prepare for my journey, I know that I will travel safely under the protection of God and the righteous knowledge of the dates of Easter. My destination lies far from home, but in service to heaven, even my own realm must wait. It is time to depart. And so, from Dundelgan in Arghilla, maybe that's the boat that came to take him away. He's going to travel all the ways across Europe, and he's going to travel down to the Vatican and give thanks to the Holy Father, and give books, like I said, explaining to the Holy Father the correct calculations for the date of Easter. You might have realised that Grianghrafadóir, I'm going to be making that mistake for a while. Grianghrafadóir hasn't stood his army down. That's unusual. Grianghrafadóir has left instructions to his nobles. Basically, now it's not looking great as it is at the moment, but his instructions were to burn Scotland. All of Scotland, except the Swedish, will know the might and rule and authority of Grianghrafadóir. People might think that now that he's gone on pilgrimage, that he is weak, that he is abandoning his kingdom or leaving his kingdom behind, or that he is fearful. We will disabuse them of this notion. The forces of Grianghrafadóir will carry out a massive circuit of Scotland, and once that is done, we will see what they're going to do. We will march our army across and into Mayboyle. Now, a lot of these places have been looted already, so it's not until we push a bit north that we're gonna start to see proper money. And of course, also while Grianghrafadóir is away, we do have a number of factions that might need to be dealt with. But basically, these independent realms, what little is left of Alba, and the Isles, they will know the might of Grianghrafadóir. Speaking of which, he's after getting himself lost on the way to Rome. Ah, lad. So our two options are either a severe health penalty for 5 years, or we spend the 50 quid. Because we're raiding like lunatics, we're going to spend the 50 quid. And this is another reason why we need to keep looting, is because there's going to be a lot of expenses while he's on his pilgrimage, so we do need to actually keep the money coming in. And speaking of dealing with money at later points in time, we have a diplomacy lifestyle perk. I was going to go for defensive negotiations, because I did want to work down to each alliance gets +1 diplomacy, but or each alliance brings us +1 diplomacy. But instead, because we're going to have need of it, short enough, we're going to come over to ducal conquest, And title creation is now going to become 20% cheaper for us. So we're going to click on that and unlock. And instead, I had said that we were going to focus on getting down as far as embassies and then probably writing history. Instead, what we're going to do is we're going to come back to martial, and we are going to go for authority focus, dread and control. And we're going to start coming down the overseer route, because we are in bad trouble at the moment with control. And we're also going to use dread to make people more likely to vote in line for our son, Cuchurcamur, to succeed us as High King of Ireland. So poor old Grianghrafadóir, he is finding it hard to keep people on the route with him. They've begun to abandon him, including his guards. So we have two options. All we need is the protection of God. It gives us -1 intrigue per devotion level, and he already has a very low intrigue. So unfortunately, we're going to have to fork out another 50 quid for foreign guards, which will give him, it'll give him extra prowess, and it will give us a levy increase for the next 10 years. So that's going to put us further and further in debt. But this is another reason why we're carrying out raids to make money for Grianghrafadóir to go and see the Holy Father. So we've sieged down Carrick. We're gonna come into Ayrshire, our own land, and we are going to split our army in half, and then we're going to move them up into the Isles. And we have arrived at the Vatican. As the abbot offers me blessings, I reflect on everything that had to happen for God to bring me here at this moment in time. I have walked the holy path, gains 625 crosses. That's a lot of crosses. And monthly piety now is going to go up by 10%, and same faith opinion goes up by 5%. So that is definitely what we wanted. We're going to see how that affects us going forward with our piety. And we're going to split our army here. And now we have one commanded by our marshal, and the other is commanded by the guy that I married my daughter off to. So I think that's fitting. I'm going to march one to the tribe of Kilmartin, and the other one, is there something out here? There is, by the looks of it. That's a big roundabout path, but there's 15 gold, and there's 3. Not great, but every little counts. And we were almost out of our deficit before we got a tax hit there. And so Grianghrafadóir returns home after what has been, I won't lie, a fairly short pilgrimage. I didn't think he'd be gone for such a short period of time. But he's come back a changed man. The abbots, the priors can see it, and they've changed the way that they treat him, which is good. Maybe he asked forgiveness for that murder he committed. I think we're going to be cut off. I think some raiders are maybe going to hit the expensive place before we do. They have. Let's see what happens when we march our force in there. Now, we're crossing water, and they're already disembarked. We'll see how it goes. I'm not entirely too sure what happens in this scenario. Here's one of our armies that's finished raiding. We'll find a new place for them to go to. I'm not going to lie. That pilgrim trait doesn't seem to be doing anything at the moment. Which is Ox. Oh wow, that's actually a big surprise. There is our wife that we gave this bit of land to. We just kind of dumped her over here. And drunkard. I wasn't expecting to actually have any children with her, so that's fantastic. Because I can give her more land. At the moment, it's going to her brother's children, and a lot of them are in line to inherit various different random places. And her sister's child, so her nephew, I think, is poor Donal. Poor Donal that's in our army, that we have him raiding his father's lands, which actually are occupied at the moment. I'm not too sure what's going on here. Servertuk might be forced out, and Alba might collapse completely. We're seeing a conquest of the Earldom of Angus. That's not good. Oh, it's just the Earldom. So yeah, he's going to be stripped down to a single county by the looks of it. So I'm not entirely sure what's going on here. We can't siege this place down anymore. Possibly because we weren't the first ones to hit it. I don't know. It's a bit confusing, but we're going to keep the army moving. They have no gold, which is a bit of a pity. So they're going to have to go on a big cross-country run up as far as Inverness. The Isles are moving in some large armies up in this general direction, possibly looking to deal with us. So if we can keep these two armies in around the same region, we might do battle with them. Cuchurca has been appointed as my heir again. And so Grianghrafadóir learns what it is like to have somebody attempting to kill his wife. After killing his father's wife, somebody is now trying to kill Hildeburg. This is his giant wife, the daughter of the former king of West Francia, Cuchurca's mother. So somebody at court is trying to kill her. We must stop the villain. I'm actually thinking quite soon that we will divorce her. So we can see that armies are sallying out to try and stop our various attacks. What I'm going to do is I'm going to let that army, I can't change them just yet. We're going to let them come into Inverness, and then we're going to march them up immediately to join the battle. And there we have a much better chance now. So the attacking forces will hit us first of all, and then we have our army that follows in. So as long as we can just hold... It's not looking great. That second army is not coming in too fast. Slash at all. Is it moving at all? No? I was supposed to keep it there. No, that was kind of strange. Didn't look to have moved at all, but we're defending in a good position now. That our other retreating army is probably going to fall way, way back. Right, what a time. We've a child in the middle of this. Kilduck? Yeah, sure. We did wound a champion. Oh my god, this is a disaster! So 2 hefty defeats dumped on top of us, one after the other. Our forces unable to join up over this mountain range here. And there's something weird going on down here. Thomond has gotten a bit Thomond's gotten a bit out of hand. We're going to have to do something about that. Let's see how those 2 fights went. So one of the mayors in one of the areas that we seized recently was slaughtered. There is Chieftain Servertuch. We made him a chief recently. He's 54 kills. There's one of the guys that I was thinking of marrying my daughter off to, but we married her off to somebody else. And we come in and look at the second battle. Our champions didn't kill a single person. That's interesting. But we did manage to kill 2 people. Maybe all the champions were in one army. I'm not really too sure how that worked. So that was awkward. We're just going to park them here. Let them regain their composure. Oh god, these guys are retreating. Don't tell me they're going to retreat all the ways into Ireland. They are indeed. Okay, off you go. Talk to you later. And St. Johnston is being sieged down. Jesus, lads. My God, they're still on the move. Where are they going? Finally. So I think I need to put them back to being a normal army if I want them to actually gain troops, from what I can understand. And we have another daughter. So 2 of our wives were pregnant at the same time. We've gotten 2 daughters. I'm going to go with Nuala. And so I think, what are we looking at? 9 children, 2 sons, 1 of whom has died. And the other, there he is, he's gotten that temperate trait. Excellent. So that's going to help people in supporting Kukurka for the High Kingship. That's awesome. But yeah, we suffered a big defeat there. That was a pity. And we also need to look at what Thomond is doing, because Thomond is becoming vastly too powerful. It's taken this region with a while. So what's happened is that Geralt, the devil, Geralt is after taking, my half-brother is after taking the chiefdomship of Connaught. So what we're going to do at some stage is we're going to create Leinster. We'll take Leinster and we'll give Munster to Diarmid here, or to Conall. But they're becoming a bit of they're becoming good buddies. They're becoming good buddies. I don't know what we're going to do about that. More assassination attempts at court, or more plans to kill people. Somebody is trying to kill my spymaster. We must stop the villain behind this. So, in the aftermath of our defeat in Scotland, Grianghrafadóir is going to divorce his wife, who is a member of the MacAlpin, who was maintaining we had an alliance into the MacAlpin for a while because of this, but now it's gone. She's a lunatic. She's just given us a daughter. But what we're going to do is we're going to divorce her and see if we can find somebody either with better stewardship traits to make our primary wife. So we're actually going to replace Hildeburg as our primary wife, and possibly even divorce her as well at some stage. And we're gonna request a divorce from the head of the house, which is ourself. Hopefully we give it. Oh, there we go. We're divorced. So what we have here is a daughter of a mayor, the city of Tafalla. She will bring a grand total of 85 soldiers into our military alliances. Fantastic. However, if we can get that trait, or that perk that gives us +1 for every alliance, this is worth +1 as well, +1 diplomacy. So we're going to send that proposal because she has fantastic stewardship skills, and we're going to use those. She's going to support us, and that'll hopefully bring up our domain level as well. So we're pretty much going to make her our primary wife once that's accepted. And so, after all the service that she has been, later historians will say that the Kingdom of Ireland was built on her shoulders. Well, I think propagandists will say that the Kingdom of Ireland was built on her shoulders, but later historians, modern historians, will call that into question, because of course her father wasn't the King of France when we formed the Kingdom of Ireland, or when we fought most of our major battles. And indeed, mostly what happened was we got dragged into wars that were very expensive for us in terms of manpower, lost a son. But the propagandists, the Uí Néill propagandists, will say that this is the woman on whose shoulders the Kingdom of Ireland was built, and we are going to remove her as our primary wife, and instead we are going to elevate Patirna to our primary spouse, make primary spouse. And let's see how that affects various different things. We're already up to 5 out of 5 holdings. So she had much better skills as a steward, so she's able to assist us much better there. So this time we're going to keep our army together. We're going to have them cross across into Lennox and begin sieging that area down. 16 gold waiting for us. Here's this big army that's coming across again. They dealt a heavy blow to us before. They're coming back to bait us again, and they very well might. We'll see what our defensive position is like. So we pulled our forces back into Ayrshire. They're heading off in a different direction. And what we're going to do is maybe wait for the numbers to come up a small bit. And possibly attack them. So seeking revenge, we're going to see if we can come in and hit these guys. I think they just stood down a chunk of their army, however. I'm not too sure what they're doing. We're actually going to come in and attack them. They have. Rather bad timing for them. Our advantage isn't great, however. We're seeking revenge against whatever forces we can strike out against. We're going to come in and hit these guys. We might even siege down Fife for a grand total of 4 gold. Possibly when our army was coming in against them, they decided to stand down the 1,400 troops or something. And just while we're here, look at this Donal moving up in the world. He's 20. He's married to a close enough relative. Her father was Donal II, who actually replaced our son Congus as the King of Alba. And his father, of course, is Ser Vertuch, who rules this region up here. But they have had a child. Child is sterile. That's not great. But there you go, the beginnings of a family for poor old Donal. So he has a second baba to look after, as well as this giant of a thing, up to 13 prowess now. Our son and heir. So we have a few prisoners from before we were crushed by that large Scottish army. What I'm going to do is I'm going to force this woman to convert. And hopefully we can force her to convert, recruit, and demand conversion. There you go. So we're actually going to recruit her to our court. 10 prowess. We're gonna keep her if we get any knights that we need somebody to marry, to be married off to. Now my original intention was to execute the 2 remaining guys. If we come to this guy and try to ransom him, we get absolutely nothing. And we could do with the dread, which will make people more inclined to vote in favour of Cuchurca as the High King of Ireland. So we're going to execute that guy. And then we come up to this gentleman. I was going to execute him as well. He will pay. I have no idea who he is. He doesn't seem to be a lord or anything like this. We're actually forcing his daughter to join our court and be a member of our court, but he'll pay me 100 quid to ransom himself. This is the most I've ever been paid for a ransom. It's like double the amount of money that we have at the moment, so absolutely, if you're going to pay that much for yourself, I'm not going to stop you. And we're going to march our army up here into Dunkeld. We're going to siege down this region, and then we're going to probably come to some of the regions around it. Well, depending. Here is so our father tortured this man's wife when we captured her in Ulm. And I think we're married to somebody. This guy might be betrothed to a daughter of ours. He is indeed. So he's calling us into an alliance. It looks like he's in a war against himself. Or else it's this girl that's fighting him. We'll accept. We'll see what this actually looks like. I don't know how bothered we are. He should be able to take care of that on his own. He doesn't need us. He doesn't need us. So we've just recruited a new knight to court. And we're going to marry off Sinead, who is a daughter of Fingonne. So she would be the sister of the current ruler of... Oh God. He's Breffni now, so his father was given Connacht. And I think this guy conquered Breffni and then lost Connacht. So it's a big move around, but hopefully they will get, any children will get the intelligent and comely trait. Medium chance of children, so... and he's actually gone straight in. Where did he go in? He's gone in as number 3 in the charts. Our 3rd best knight, we've just recruited him. And we're after picking up a new perk for ourselves. We're going to just go straight down through Serve the Crown. And then from there, I think we're going to be going for a strict organization. Pretty much, we might be seeking to finish off this entire tree, because if we're going to be doing a lot of conquest with Grianghrafadóir going forward, we're going to need to be able to restore control quickly. And we can see that the control is absolutely abysmal in some of these regions. It's now up to 25, it's up to 12, and it's now growing at 0.7 per month because of the Serve the Crown and the authority focus. So it was just 0.1 for a while. A couple of weird things happening. We'll take a look at this one first of all. So we can either increase our opinion with him, or we can get respected figurehead, which will give us additional levies for the next 2 years. So that's what we're going to go with. The other thing we can see is that this is it now. This is all that remains of the Kingdom of Alba. We get another pop-up. It's one of my knights. Oh my god, it's my main knight as well. That's actually, or not my main knight, but the guy that I married off to my daughter. They've already had a child. Again, he has the giant trait. What are we going to do here? This is my son-in-law, and he's planning to kill my best spy master, my highest intrigue character. So our options are to let it be known that he's trying to kill my spy master, throw him in jail. Whether true or not, I will not accuse Ian. So we could let it be known he's going to lose 150 prestige, and he has a lot in fairness to him. Our opinion goes down by 20%. That doesn't make much of a difference because, of course, he's already at minus 80 with me. He already hates me, so yeah, I'm gonna let it be known that he's planning to kill my spy master even. So there's more wars going on in Ireland itself. Máel Shocnail's son Riacon is attacking his uncle anyway, Geralt the Drunkard, to try to take back probably the title of Connacht. I'm not entirely too sure what he's fighting to take back. Speaking of titles, we're going to create the Duchy of Leinster. We hold one of the counties in it directly. And what I'm probably going to do, he's getting a bit too powerful for me. He does want the title though, but I'm probably going to grant the High Chiefdom of Munster to Conall. I think it was his grandfather who created it, and I took it off of one of his uncles, I think. He's a powerful vassal. He's going to be the first member of the family, or he's going to be the first person who's not a member of the family to hold a duchy within the Kingdom of Ireland. So we're going to give him that, and we're going to see if he gets uppity, if he starts causing trouble for us. Makes him like us a lot though. And just after we give him that title, he has succeeded in bringing Leinster over to Irish traditions. So he has changed the culture in Leinster from Norse to Irish. Great work, Conall. Now the only problem is that he's not supporting my son for the High Kingship. It's at minus 92%. It's pretty much the family concerns. He's an only child. Oh, that's a problem as well. Well, he's not an only child, but he's Cuchurca has a lot of sisters. I think that's what you mean. And he's evil. I'm not too sure where the hell that's coming from. But the good thing is that they're not able to decide amongst themselves on anyone else. A lot of people are voting for Geralt, except for Geralt himself, the drunkard, who I don't think realizes there's a good chance that he'd be able to claim the kingship. No, he wouldn't. He still wouldn't have enough votes. But yeah, he's a bit too drunk to realize that he'd actually be able to probably swing the vote if he voted for himself. And one of the problems at the moment, so we can't raid, and I think this has something to do with the fact that we are in a war. So what we're going to do is we are going to raid. We're going to come here and we're going to raid. So we're going to... Interestingly enough, Belak, I'm not too sure how you pronounce this county, but this is the county that was held, if we look at the history of the county, there he is, King Louis II. For a while, this was one of the only counties that he had, and he, of course, later became the King of West Francia, and he is our father-in-law. He's deceased now, but he is Grianghrafadóir's father-in-law through his former primary wife. So we're actually going to be returning. Maybe Donald's definitely in the army. So maybe Donald is going to bring Kukurka to see his ancestors' land. We've a bit of a change here. The whatever mad company it was. What was it? The Company of the Horn or something? They've been driven out, which is a bit of a pity. The Band of the Horn. So they had taken Gwynedd. They were... What was it? Inherited via abdication. And then there was a faction demand. So there's been a change there. And indeed, I have offered Ulster vassalization, but they have refused. Minus 109. I'm not entirely intent on going and conquering it just yet or doing anything like that. I'm disappointed. I'm disappointed that our pilgrim trade doesn't seem to be doing anything for us. I had to burn a lot of holdings to the ground to get that trait. So a lot of places, I won't say a lot of places, but a couple of places have entered the side of our, oh god, is he our son-in-law? Well, against him anyway. And it's a disparate holding. Some in Italy, some in Aquitaine, some in West Francia. So we're going to raid we're going to raid Belak. And then we might have to go to Italy and try and bring this war to an end. The way we can go back to raiding. And so, for the first time in a long time, Irish troops set foot again on the continent. Our daughter Grania comes of age, and it is she that is maintaining this alliance. So that betrothal will go through. And there you go. There he is, with his scared-looking wife. We may have done that to her. Sorry. Sorry about that. Our father was in a bad way at the time. We're also actually trying to make this guy like us, the way that he will support us in wars, because I think he's refused on one or two. So we're gonna, yeah, quite simply, we're just gonna get 30 opinion of him. There we go. Happy out. And just as our forces land in Europe, the war comes to an end. So we cross the ocean at considerable expense. Sadly, we still can't turn on the raiding modifier, because what I was going to do was I was going to bring the army down here, and I was going to have them raid basically along here to make up for the money that we've just spent. Because I imagine it's the type of thing that would happen. An Irish army, or any type of army, has travelled a great distance at great expense, and it just gets told, yeah, it's fine. There's nothing to do. Go back home. I imagine they'd riot, basically. So what we'll do is we'll see if we can bring the army back up now and get it to raid. So we are indeed in a position to go back to raiding. We're gonna split the forces in half. Oh, good lord. We have a son. We have another son, so hopefully this will help Kukurka with his quest to become the High King, because there were some people giving out that he was an only child. I hit a good Irish name a couple of times, and we've came up with Scanlon. And this, of course, was another knight, great knight of ours that was, well, he wasn't a great knight of ours, he was quite young when he was killed. In the aftermath, he wasn't killed at the Battle of Cornwall, He was killed shortly afterwards, and this was the son of one of Flann Sinna's wives. She had an affair, Scanlon d'Ivera, so we're going to name our son Scanlon. And let's see how that has impacted the actual quest for the Kingdom of Ireland. So a couple of people now are down to just minus 50. They're still saying that he's an only child, so that's had no impact. But a couple are down to like minus 50, minus 45. So we should be in a position to actually get other people supporting him. And of course, there's still a couple of people that we can force them to vote in line with us. We have a battle here. We've got some forces. We've decent quality soldiers. Decent. Captured some prisoners. Another old smack or two. There's another army coming in against us. We're in a good defensive position. What we might do is actually bring this army down to reinforce. And we'll see what the... Oh, they're not even coming for us. They're running away. They're scared. And yeah, absolutely no knights did anything there. And instead what we're going to do is we're going to march them up south, up here into Ross. Possibly even head... Nope, not for Caithness. Yeah, I think up around here is going to be as far north as we'll march them. And then we'll turn them around. So Grianghrafadóir, returning from Rome, I think he bought some books with him on Julius Caesar and his exploits. We have some traits that he can pick up. And I think we're going to go for Unyielding Defender, which will give us minus 25% friendly fatal casualties. So that's kind of something that we want to work on if we come under attack. We've seen there that even though we have superior numbers, we've been getting bad rolls and things. So that's the one I'm going to take for him. I think we can see that an army has gotten itself into a very bad position. If it's moving fast enough and it manages to hit us, it's in trouble. There's a couple of armies in the region. And yeah, it's actually going to come up and it's going to attack us. Fair play to them. So there's another 100-man army coming in. What is this? Oh, there's a peasant revolt. Again, this is how these guys usually try to gain my attention when they want to join my army. So we have a peasant revolt. Never! A peasant's lot is to serve their lord. So what we're going to do... Yeah, he is a bit stupid, bless him. He is a bit stupid. So what we're going to do is we're going to say no. We're going to have a peasant revolt that we can't do anything about immediately. And, yeah, we're going to come down on top of their heads in a couple of seconds. I'll pause it very quickly. So there we have our peasant rebellion. This man is going to be captured and turned into a knight. I don't know what's actually going on here. I thought this was a 1,000-man army, but knock off the last 0. So we've these tiny forces coming in against us. And I should just check how the revolt is going. 327 men. Oh no. They could actually siege down the place before we get to do anything. So another army comes in. I'll take this one and I'll send them down and we'll sort those lads out. There'll be probably a couple of battles on the way. Finally, we get back to sieging that place down. So there was a pop-up there for Donal that he had gained extra martial. He's now up to 15 martial. And if we come and look at how he's doing bringing up my son and hopefully the future heir, he'd already given him temperate, which was virtuous to Insularis. Now he has taught him to be forgiving. another virtue to those who follow the insular religion. So this is fantastic. This was a great decision, because if Grianghrafadóir had brought him up, there's a good chance that he'd be a sadist, like his father and his grandfather before him. So the Isles have raised a small army here. I won't say it's a small army, but what we're going to do is we're going to bring our two armies together, and we're going to march down and attack them, and then we're going to attack the raiders. We're pretty much attacking every and anything that we can see here. Now we can't actually reorganize our armies while we're outside of our territory, but we're going to march in and attack them first of all. Let's see if we can hunt them down. If we're in luck, we'll hit these guys. Yeah, they've gotten themselves into a bad position. So we've got a good advantage. And again, what we're doing is making our presence felt in the area, especially after the 2 bad losses that we had a while ago, where we divided our army and got caught. Now the Isles are making a run for it. And you know what? We might leave them make a run for it. If they want to make a run for it, that's fine. We bought back a lot of gold and prestige there. So we're going to stand down. We're going to disband our 2 armies. No, we only disbanded 1. There's the 2 of them gone. Put on their shields and disappear into the night. We're going to create a brand new rally point in Leinster. And then we're going to raise all our armies immediately in Leinster. And then we're going to march them into Athlone. To fight these troublemakers. And you know what? They've actually gotten quite close to sieging down Athlone. Out comes the sword. There's another war. This guy's gotten himself into another war. We'll accept. We'll see about coming over and helping you. God, I can't even accept because there's something blocking it. So many pop-ups. A new religious movement. I think it's just that they became Cathar. And yeah, we'll march in and attack this guy. Oh wow, they're converting to Cathar. So these would be the people ruling Dublin and things like this. We might have to, in the name of His Excellency, we might have to declare a holy war. And there you go. Not the toughest. We enforce our demands. We got ourselves a 19 martial, 16 prowess. So be it. We negotiate your release. Demand conversion. And recruit. Get a weak hook. We won't do it for the weak hook. We'll do our usual demand conversion and recruit. We'll stand down our army. I have no choice but to accept. You're absolutely right. You've no choice but to accept. So here's just one of the recent victories in Scotland. Here's Servertuch up at the top with 16 kills. There is my daughter's husband, my son-in-law, who was trying to murder one of my spy masters. Let's see if we can demand his conversion. Not yet. We'll get there yet. Don't you worry. And then if we go down a bit, there's Ruacón, Grianghrafadóir's brother. There's Donal. And there's our marshal. And there's our high chieftain. Everyone having a great old time. So just to end up to show the religious map of this kind of section of Europe, just to show you what's going on. Insular Christianity still holds out. in our little enclave up in Norway. Much, well, I won't say much, but part of Ireland has converted to Cathar. So possibly, like I said, we're going to be going to into a holy war to take those back. I'm working on converting these counties back to insular Christianity as well at the moment. No idea what's going on over here. Mandeism, esotericism, Gnosticism, and communal identity. It's an interesting looking one. I've never heard of it before, but if we look at where its holy sites are, you're spread across the Middle East. So I have no idea how it ended up in, what is that, part of Lothringia. A couple of counties have converted fully. This person has converted, and it's spreading to some of the counties that are held by this guy. Is it this duchy or something? I'm not entirely too sure, but that's an interesting scenario. But yeah, we might have to declare war for a holy war for the conquest of Dublin. Now, look, we're in a position where we could mop up these places fairly easily. That's what a man said who sent 2 armies in here and got his ass handed to him. So maybe I shouldn't be saying things like that. But yeah, that pretty much brings today's episode to an end. It wasn't too bad, other than that minor setback that we had. The money that we raised, I've used it to start building sparring grounds or war camps in Leinster and Ossory. So that'll increase our levies, and it will also give us some knights and knight effectiveness. So that's something that we want, the way we don't lose any more knights. I won't say any more knights, but we want to keep the likes of Donal alive, poor old Donal. We want to see him get out of this. I'd like to lend him and give him some bit of a reward for all the hassle that the poor man has been put through. So that pretty much brings today's episode to an end. Like I said, it was going to be a quiet enough one. I didn't intend for it to be as quiet as it was. I was hoping we would do substantially more trouble in Scotland, but unfortunately we had a bit of a setback. And other than that setback, that's really the only negative that we had this entire episode. We didn't lose any important knights. We didn't lose a son or anything crazy like that. We've bought our vassals under control. We're going to get a perk that will give us greater control over the actual counties, and that will raise our levy numbers and our tax numbers. We're putting together big numbers of forces at the moment. We're crossing the 3,000 mark. So hopefully on the next episode we'll see another push into Scotland, or maybe even an attempt to push out some of the religions, the heretical religions that are establishing themselves on the island of Ireland. Thank you for joining me on this episode, and I hope to see you on the next one.